When you think of the internet, what do you picture? Probably a cloud, right? Something kind of abstract, just floating out there in the ether. Well, the truth is, the internet is a very real, very physical place. It lives inside these massive, colossal buildings, humming with power, and protected like a fortress. Okay, let's dive right in. And this is where it gets really interesting. The biggest players out there, we're talking cloud providers, network carriers, all the major services you use every single day, they're not using the same public internet as the rest of us. Nope, they're actually neighbors, all living inside these data centers with their own private, super high-speed lanes connecting directly to each other. They get to skip all the traffic, and it all happens right here inside these walls.
So how do you protect a place that is quite literally the backbone of our digital world? Well, you build a fortress. Getting inside one of these data centers is an incredibly intense, multi-layered process, and for a very good reason. They are safeguarding billions of dollars in equipment and a huge slice of the internet itself.
Seriously, just getting to the servers feels like a mission out of a spy movie. First, you've got to prove who you are at reception. Then you face something called the man trap. If you make it through that, you need your biometrics, like a fingerprint, just to get onto the correct floor. And even then, you're not done. You still have to get through another locked door to access the specific customer cage you're authorized for. It's a total security gauntlet.
Okay, let's talk about this man trap, because it's just a brilliant piece of physical security. You walk into this small chamber, and the door slams shut behind you. It's only when that first door is fully locked and you authenticate yourself, again, that the second door in front of you will open. This whole design is made to stop tailgating. You know, that classic trick of someone slipping in right behind you? Here, it's just physically impossible. One person at a time, that's it.
Once you're finally on the floor, you see that not all security is the same. Some customers have these cages with open tops. Now, that might seem less secure, but don't let it fool you. They are monitored 24/7. If you even think about trying to climb one, security will be on you in seconds. But for the really sensitive clients, they offer fully enclosed cages. We're talking mesh on all 6 sides, top, bottom, you name it. That's for the really top secret stuff.
But the security here is way more than just locks and doors. It's all about defense in depth. You need an escort with you absolutely everywhere you go. You'll notice there are no company logos on any of the server racks, so you can't just wander by and see what gear your competitor is using. And here's the coolest trick, the blue lighting. It's not just for looks, it actually makes it much harder to read the equipment labels from a distance. A super subtle but really clever security layer.
All right, so now we've seen how they keep the internet safe. But how do they keep it running? Powering and cooling a building that's jam-packed with heat-generating servers is just a monumental logistical challenge. We're talking about a city of servers that can never, ever be turned off.
The cooling system is just incredible. The best way to think about it is like the liquid cooling you'd find in a high-end gaming PC. You know, you've got a radiator and fans that cool down liquid, and that liquid then flows to your CPU to keep it from melting. Now just imagine that exact same system, but scaled up to the size of a massive building. Giant radiators on the roof cool liquid that circulates through the entire facility, just soaking up the immense heat coming off all those servers.
Let's move down to the floor itself and see how this all comes together. You might be picturing those classic raised floors, right, with cold air being pumped up from underneath? Well, that's kind of the old way of doing it. The new approach is to use solid slab floors and push the cool air in from the sides of the room. So why the change? It's simple. Slab floors can hold a ton more weight, which is absolutely critical for today's incredibly dense and ridiculously heavy AI server racks.
But what happens if the city's power grid goes down? The short answer? Absolutely nothing. This facility has a massive generator yard totally ready to run the entire building at full capacity for 36 hours straight. That is an insane amount of backup power, and it's what ensures the services we all rely on are always on.
Okay, so security and power are obviously vital, but they aren't the real secret sauce of this place. The building's true value, its superpower, comes from something you would never guess: its location and its strange, totally improbable history.
The story here is just fantastic. This building, the Dallas Infomart, was actually built back in the 80s as a kind of futuristic technology mall, a permanent showroom for companies like IBM. The thing is, the idea completely failed, but it just so happened to be built directly on top of a major convergence point for the nation's long-haul fiber optic cables, which were all laid along the old railway lines. It was a failed mall sitting on what would become the most valuable internet real estate imaginable. Talk about a happy accident.
So because it was this natural fiber hub, every major network provider wanted to be inside. And to connect to them, you'd have to order what's called a cross-connect. And that is a literal physical cable that a technician has to run from your server cage all the way over to, say, AT&T's cage. If you wanted to connect to Verizon and AWS too, well, you'd need more cables. It worked, sure, but it was slow, cumbersome, and expensive.
This old, clunky way of doing things, ordering physical cables that could take months to get installed, was a huge bottleneck. So they invented something much, much faster. A virtual superhighway that lets you bypass all that physical work entirely.
And the difference is just staggering. It's night and day. The old way meant waiting for months, literally, for a technician to run a physical wire for you. The new way, which is called Equinix Fabric, is all done with software. So instead of waiting for months, you can spin up a brand new, direct connection to a cloud provider or network partner in a matter of seconds. So how does this magic work? It is a total game changer. You get one single physical connection into the Fabric network. But through that one port, you get virtual access to over 3,000 other companies, carriers, and cloud providers that are also on that network. You can create connections, tear them down, change them whenever you want, all through a simple software portal.
Okay, this is the real aha moment. Let's say you order one 10 gigabit port. You can then log into a portal and digitally slice up that bandwidth however you want. You can tell it, okay, I want 1 gigabit to go directly to AWS, give me another gig to Azure, and let's assign 2 gigs to our main internet pipe with AT&T. No technicians, no new cables, just a few clicks. It is an unbelievably powerful and flexible way to build your network.
So we've seen the incredible security, the massive power systems, this revolutionary networking tech. But after spending a day inside this place, you realize the true secret isn't any of that. It's the people.
The team that was guiding us around, these were employees who had been there for over 20 years. One guy was coming up on 25 years. That kind of tenure tells you everything you need to know about the passion and the deep expertise that's poured into making this place run. It's just a great reminder that behind all the tech we use every day, there are dedicated, passionate people making it all possible.
So in the end, our vast digital cloud is really anchored to the physical world in these few hyper-connected, hyper-secure locations. They are the heart of the internet, run by these incredible experts. But as our reliance on this digital world just explodes, especially with AI, what does it mean that so much of it lives in just a handful of buildings? What does the future of a physical internet really look like?